Do you actually even know how fucking expensive it is to be evicted and then subsequently be homeless? You know, because people really love to regurgitate talking points without actually ever doing a deep dive, or unless it like fucking happens to them, then they're not going to have this information. So let's just unpack how fucking expensive it is, right? To be 1 to 1.5 paychecks away from eviction. How expensive it is to actually be evicted and then subsequently be homeless. So you're already scrounging up the money to make sure that you can back pay this rent. And unless you have a private homeowner, a private landlord, okay, 9 times out of 10, you're renting from one of these mega rental companies who have the stupidest but most strictest fucking stipulations about how you're able to pay them their fucking money, right? These are not conversations. You just end up going to court, and then it just is what the fuck it is, right? And you get a certain amount of time. Now, most people obviously are trying to get the money together to fucking pay the past rent, right? So what ends up happening is the sheriff comes to evict you. So basically you get like a 7 to 10 day notice, right? So after you go to court like 2 times, you get a notice from the fucking sheriff's department letting you know that they're going to come and follow through with a fucking eviction, right? And what happens then is that there is 1 to 2 sheriff deputies that comes to your house, your apartment, whatever the fuck, okay? And then the rental company is in charge of moving all that shit, right? The police are just there to make sure that they execute the eviction fully and that ain't nobody stealing your shit in that time that the eviction is happening. So they come, they move your shit out. You probably have about 20 to 30 minutes to fucking get a U-Haul, because mind you, once the sheriffs come, you are not allowed to pack shit up. You ain't allowed to do shit but grab things that need to be on your person. So your ID, your purse, your medication, little shit like that. You're not even allowed to pack no overnight bag, bitch. No. So all your shit gets packed up into giant garbage bags. We don't know how much of your shit gets broken in that time, right?
Right, that's
so
true.
You can't.
I never thought about that. Yeah, a lot of people's stuff get broke. Never looked at it that way. They do carry it out there carelessly. They just throwing it out, moving as quickly as they can, not handling it with care. I never put 2 and 2 together. Belongings may get broken throughout the eviction process. You already don't got money for rent. Now, whenever you do get somewhere else to stay, most likely you're going to get your items out a storage unit. It's going to be in a storage unit until you can get back on your feet. You have enough money to move in somewhere. You might be in a hotel in the meantime or something like that, or out on the streets, or staying in your car, or staying with someone. Once you finally can get your belongings, you take what's already still intact, and the rest of it, you got to get it repaired or buy all new furniture or whatever it is that was broken. Man, never thought about it.
Find shit that you actually fucking need. Ain't no overnight bag, so now you have to go and buy all of your essentials. You have to go buy all of your essentials. You just didn't have rent money. Now you have to go buy your fucking essentials, bitch, because you were not allowed to pack an overnight bag. This is how people who are 1 to 1.5 paychecks away end up more fucked than ever before, right? Because, like I'm explaining, you have to re-buy shit that you already have, but now it's being all thrown together, and then it's going to be set on the fucking street, right? So you have 20 to 30 minutes to go get you a fucking U-Haul. U-Hauls cost money. U-Hauls cost money. You need some type of fucking privilege to get a U-Haul. You need a driver's license. You need money.
Right.
Like a debit or a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
And money on it. Oh my God. Again, you're in a situation where you're trying to scrounge up fucking money. Now you have to spend all of that money just getting some of your shit from being fucking thrown out. So then after that, right, you have to find temporary to mid-temporary housing, which if you have any type of mental health issues, if you have kids, any type of dependents, pets, things like that, that becomes 3 times more difficult because you have dependents and other things that you need to try to navigate in homelessness. Bitch. And then on top of it, now you have an eviction on your fucking record. So unless you can find insecure housing within 1 to 2 weeks, you are mad fucked. You're mad fucked for renting again. Yep. Yes. No one wants to rent to you once an eviction has hit your fucking record. Yeah. You're gonna have to stay in the most egregious fucking neighborhoods and the most egregious fucking houses just because you got put out because you were in a fucked up financial position. So I really beg people to truly think about this shit and let it galvanize you. Let this really make you feel some type of way. Because, bitch, if it happened to you, for real, like...
It's very, very messed up that the system is keeping people 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness. They're keeping it that way. They designed it that way. People can't afford to get sick. You can't afford to be in the hospital for a little second. You can't afford to fall on hard times at all. It's messed up. It's real messed up. I don't think we really think about this. We just go through life, working every day, all day, paying bills. Nobody really think about how crazy that is. We talk about it, but it's like, it's just a talking point up until you're dealing with it. Then it's like, man, this is real. Everything was good. You could have been holding on for years, a decade. Then all of a sudden something happens. That's all it takes. Now you're going through everything she just discussed. And now you can't get a place anymore. Just because that 2 weeks that you were in the hospital messed up everything. Or whatever happened. We just using the hospital example. You can't determine when you'll have a health scare or something will happen with your health that'll cause you to not be able to work for 2 weeks or longer. Right? You can go in a coma, whatever. Now all of a sudden you lose everything. Everything you've been working for. Everything you've been building throughout the years. I don't like it. I do not like it. And I feel for the people that's going through it or have went through it. It's bad.
I think the most unintelligent thing that you can say on the conversation of homelessness is that they should just get a job. Did you know 40 to 60% of people experiencing homelessness in America already have one? Crazy concept. Employment doesn't equal housing. Sometimes income is just not enough income. The National Low Income Housing Coalition says there's no state, no metro area, no county in America where a full-time minimum wage worker can afford a 2-bedroom.
Oh, no.
Statistically, yeah, like a fair market rent. And in
No, not at all. Not at all.
2025, a full-time worker needed almost $29 an hour to afford a 1-bedroom rental home nationally. So when someone who's working 40 hours a week still can't afford basic apartments, maybe homelessness isn't about getting a job. And I mean, if we think about this toxic landlord-tenant culture, think about what it costs to move into an apartment, right? First month's rent, sometimes last month's rent, security deposit, application fees, there's credit checks, income requirements, deposits for your utilities. If you're already living paycheck to paycheck, where are you supposed to come up with thousands of dollars overnight?
Yeah, exactly. That's the exact reason the long stay hotels are thriving right now. Motels are thriving as well. Once you get caught up in that, fall on hard times, you get caught in having to pay for a room daily. You're never able to save enough to move in to a new apartment. Even if there is some type of program that they'll work with you, they won't really look at your past eviction. Or maybe you just weren't evicted at all. Maybe you were staying with somebody or you were doing some type of room share or whatever, and that was working out for you. Now you want to get somewhere to stay. It's kind of hard for you to do that. When you get caught in paying day to day, it's hard to save. You're literally living by the day. And those rooms add up to more than the rent. You might be staying in a motel. That's more than it would cost you to rent a place. You just aren't able to save up a lump. Now it's hard for you to get out. You're trapped.
That's the trick to the system. They never want you to stop renting. And then people are like, oh, well don't rent. Just go buy a house instead. That's becoming harder too. Housing is increasingly becoming an investment instead of just a place to live. People are buying houses to rent them. The Joint Center for Housing Studies of Harvard University said investors purchased nearly 31% of all single-family homes sold in the first quarter of 2025. That's almost 1 in 3 houses being purchased by investors instead of families looking for somewhere to live. That is insane. So whether it's large corporations buying neighborhoods or individual private landlords owning multiple properties, more homes are being purchased as rental investments instead of owner-occupied homes. Every house that is turned into a rental is one less opportunity for someone to become a homeowner. And that's the trick. Years of paying rent makes it harder to save for a down payment. We live in a society where landlords can own 10 houses, but the people working full time inside those same communities can't afford one. And that's the main critique of capitalism. Renting is supposed to be temporary. Supposed to be. But when rent is eating your paycheck, you never save enough to escape it. Owning a home has actually been one of the main ways families build wealth in America. But when you own a home, the money that you are spending every month can turn into something you actually own. But when you're renting forever, your money is only building your landlord's wealth.
You know, they want you to own nothing. They want to rent to you. So their wealth continuously is built more while yours is taken from you, or you just never are able to acquire it. I know some people that have been renting forever and they never really were able to get out of renting. He was a neighbor down the street, one of my friends. He became my friend because he was the neighbor. His mom's still renting. Well, down the street from where I grew up, rather. Back home. She's still renting. It's been probably over 20 years, maybe 25 even. Not like 20, probably 20 or 20 plus.
Of yours. And honestly, we can just look back in history and it proves my point. We know that withholding home ownership affects people's poverty levels. Black families, for decades, they were legally and financially shut out of buying homes in certain neighborhoods. Redlining was when banks and governments marked black neighborhoods as risky, which made it impossible for black families to get home loans. So black families weren't just denied houses, they were essentially just denied the chance to build any wealth or pass property down to their kids, escape poverty. That's the reason, one of the reasons, that racial wealth gap still exists today. Today's housing crisis is not the same thing as redlining, but the lesson's absolutely the same. When people are locked out of home ownership, they're locked out of one of the biggest ways that families build stability and wealth and get out of poverty in this country. On top of that, if you didn't know, cities have zoning laws that make it illegal or difficult to build the kind of housing that's actually affordable. So there's restrictions on like building duplexes, triplexes, courtyard apartments.
Tiny homes, all of that, exactly. They don't want you to be able to build affordable housing. Like if you could build a house for a fraction of the cost of building an actual 2-3 bedroom, let's say you just wanted to have a studio, tiny home, I'm pretty sure there are some people that would make that their whole business model. They would structure their whole business like that. The government wouldn't like that. They make it very difficult. Affordable housing, no way. We don't want people to be able to afford housing. Not in America, no way.
It's like higher density housing. So on top of all of this, when you're limiting the amount of housing that can be built while the demand keeps growing and homelessness is increasing, the prices are going up. And I think also our distortion, like our distorted image of homelessness is part of the problem. When people hear the word homelessness, they picture someone sitting on a sidewalk asking for change. Nobody's picturing the woman who's sleeping in her car before heading to work, or the guy who has to shower at Planet Fitness before his shift, right? Nobody's thinking about the families that are rotating between all of their relatives' different couches so that they can clock in every single morning and have someone to watch the kids. So the next time someone says, well, why don't homeless people get a job? 40 to 60% of them already do. The problem's not unemployment. Sometimes it's that having a job is no longer enough to guarantee a place to live. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as it's supposed to, and it's not working for us. Okay?
Yep, it's working against us. That was very edifying. That was very clarifying as well. I think she said enough. I don't really got much more to say other than y'all let me know what y'all think about this video. Let me know what y'all think about what's been said. Let me know what y'all think about this homelessness crisis. We definitely need to change, and I say this a lot, change our perspective on it. The way that we look at someone being homeless, we look at the bum on the streets. That needs to change. 40 to 60% of homeless people actually have jobs. They're working, they're trying. The job that they have is not enough to guarantee them a home. Well said. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Appreciate y'all. Peace.